Let's get ready for Monday Mortgage Minute with your hosts, Tom McNamara and Bruce Woodburn.
All right. Monday
Hey,
the 13th.
absolutely, all day long.
Oh, man. And it's scorching out here in Florida. But I will tell you something. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. Interesting things are happening out there right now. We have a ton of inventory, and yet I'm seeing multiple offers everywhere. I just don't understand it.
You know, what I'm seeing, Bruce, is that the properties that are good and priced correctly are getting multiple offers quickly. The properties where people either have a lot of deferred maintenance or don't price it accordingly, those properties are sitting forever. The exception to that is outside on the edges, right? So in areas like DeBarry, Deltona, parts of Claremont, into Osceola County, St. Cloud, portions of that, you're seeing very low volume of lookers, right? So you have to really lower your price to attract people into those areas.
And I'm finding that $750 to $1 million price point, they're flying off the shelves.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, if you have a beautiful house in that price range, it's gone quick. So
I'm also finding a lot more buyers over the $1 million mark these days.
Is that right? Send some my way.
I will most certainly do that. I'm trying to get rid of a few right now.
Awesome. Well, hey, I know we wanted to talk about Hometown Heroes because it starts, right?
It starts today. So today is the first day that it starts at 10 a.m. this morning. So right about now, you're going to start seeing, but you don't have to wait for anything to get an application in. But here's what I like about Hometown Heroes. Hometown Heroes is a state-funded program. So the state allotted $50 million in new funding to the program. And it's always a first come, first serve. So when the money runs out, the money runs out. It's gone. There's never a guarantee. It's not always on the ballot to refill the coffer. It's just it is or it isn't. Now we've been lucky. So we've had it. I think this is the third, maybe the fourth time we've had it, but it's been a little different each time. So let's just kind of cover the basics. So that first of all, this is for first-time home buyers. It is a government program, but let's just look at what we have. Let's look at who qualifies in 2026. Has become a little bit more limited, but this is not the complete list. So eligible borrowers have to be, and this is important, you hear this, you have to be a full-time employee in a Florida-based company. So if you worked for Pfizer out of New Hampshire, I don't even know where Pfizer is, and you are a remote worker living in Florida, that does not qualify you. You have to work for a company that's paying taxes in the state of Florida. That's where the money comes from. Yep.
Okay. Well, obviously, first responders inside Florida, first responders, firefighters, most healthcare workers are paid by their local hospital, right? School employees, they're all going to be paid locally, right? It's when you get into some of those edge cases that it's going to be somebody outside of that. Now, interestingly, you said it was a first-time home buyers program, but there is an exception, right? If you're in the military, what's the exception there?
If you're in the military, full-time, active duty, you do not have to be a first-time home buyer. So you could literally own a home and you could buy another one through this program. Why they've done that, I don't know, but I'm telling you, if you're a veteran and you can get your hands on, this is a gold mine to help you build a portfolio of real estate. Now, keep in mind, if you were to, and I'll get into this in a minute, but if you decide to rent or sell the house, you're going to have to pay the money back. However, I'll take zero interest money that you loaned me at zero interest all day long, as much as you'll give it to me, right?
Correct.
This is zero. Yep. But active military, retired military, National Guard, military reserve. But here's the clincher, folks, and you got to realize this, and I get this a lot. If you are a veteran, you must be employed full-time by a Florida-based employer under the current funding cycle. So if you are a retired veteran, even though you would qualify first-time home buyer or not, If you're not full-time employee, you're not getting it. It's not going to happen. So you have to receive your money from a Florida-based company, not retirement from the federal military.
That's interesting. That's
I
a
know.
twist. Yeah.
Isn't it though? So another thing is how much eligibility can we actually get? So let's look at this. First of all, you're going to get up to 5% of the loan amount, not the purchase price. A lot of
Correct.
down payment assistance go by the purchase price. This is based on the loan amount. So the more you put down, the less money you might get for assistance. But don't let that get in your way. So you can get up to $35,000. This money's to be used for down payment, closing cost, or prepaid escrows. You can use it for whatever you want.
So let's discuss that really quick, because a lot of people don't understand what prepaid escrows mean. And I'm able to take advantage of that quite often when we negotiate closing cost credits from sellers, just by putting in not just closing costs, and prepaid expenses, right? So prepaid expenses
Any realtor that's asking for closing costs should always write it that way.
Absolutely, 100%. But by asking for that, you're getting assistance essentially with your first year of insurance, your first, I think they escrow 3 months of additional insurance, and your prorated taxes, right?
That's right.
So, and depending on when you buy in the year, you might even get a whole nother year's worth of taxes, right? Prepaids can be huge, right? And that's a normal expense that comes out of your pocket on top of the closing costs like title insurance and closing fees and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, this can be a huge amount of money.
So after I get through some of these basics, I want to talk about one of the strategies that you and I use to make this even better. Like, we are putting cherries all over the top of this thing.
Absolutely.
So, but stay with me. I want to go through the process. Then I'm going to have Tom tell you how you get more. Okay. So let's do this. So first of all, this is how it's structured. This is just the down payment assistance. This isn't the mortgage. The mortgage is a 30-year fixed rate mortgage, FHA, VA, or conventional, whichever one, not USDA. It generally became due, and it generally becomes due when you sell the home, refinance the home, or no longer occupy it as a primary residence. But there's no payment on the second mortgage ever. You don't have to ever pay on it unless you do one of those things: sell, refinance, or no longer occupy as a primary residence.
Correct.
So
correct.
Even
the great thing about that for me is when you borrow at 0% interest and don't have to pay it back for a long time, you're essentially gaining as inflation hurts us all. You're going to be paying those dollars back in future cheaper dollars. It's the one time that inflation works to your benefit.
That's a very true statement. You're paying based on past dollars, not future dollars. Right?
Correct. Imagine paying a debt that you borrowed in the 60s for
$6,000. I bought
and you only have to pay it back today. Right?
It's worth $826 now. I'm paying back the 26. And you ask yourself, would you have a problem with that? It's funny because when we talk to people, sometimes they're like, oh, you mean you actually have to pay it back? Yes, you actually have to pay it back. Some down payment assistance are forgiven over a period of time. This one is not.
You know what I like about this program, though? My understanding is that as money gets paid back into this program, it actually goes back into the program for future people. Now, I haven't seen that yet because we haven't really had it long enough to come back in. But I wonder how they're tracking that. That might be something for me to look into.
And a lot of people think that their mortgage payments are the biggest problem, but really the biggest problem isn't mortgage payments. The biggest obstacle today is coming up with the down payment, the closing costs, the prepaid escrows, and the homeowner's insurance. So that's where this really comes in. So here's the thing. And this is what I think hurts. This is a money line here. The biggest hurdle for many borrowers isn't the monthly payment. It's getting enough money to put together. That's exactly what the Hometown Heroes is created to help you solve. So it's put together the amount of money that you need at a 0 interest rate. Another great topic here is that if you're a teacher, nurse, firefighter, police, military, veteran, any other eligible frontline professional, don't Don't assume you don't qualify. Let's find out. A lot of people think they don't qualify. The credit scores are flexible. I want to get into that too. But I do think there's urgency in here because you think $50 million is a lot. We had $100 million on the first one and it lasted a month and a half. A month and a half. Now,
and then they funded it. Then they funded that one. They funded that one further though. They got rid of it in $100 million, and then they gave another $50 million, and that went in a couple months.
Yep, but the reason for that it went as fast as it did is, if you remember, they opened it up and there was no restrictions on your employment.
I do. I remember there were no restrictions.
Okay,
so now
they went back. They went, no, we're not yet. We need this to be strictly for our heroes. So here you go. These funds won't last. They're not going to last forever. You get in there first, you win. Okay, and then if you think you might qualify for Hometown Heroes, don't wait to today.
Well,
do it.
It's today.
Do it yesterday. Do it yesterday. Okay. And here's how you get pre-qualified. Just call my phone number. There's 2 phone numbers you can call, Tampa or Orlando. Let's get you pre-qualified. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to set you up with Tom, and if you're not in the Orlando or Tampa area, let us know. Tom and I work with real estate agents all over. Now here's what Tom does. Tom, I'm going to let you have this because this literally blows me away. We've gotten clients into the table that have been able to maximize what Hometown Heroes has given them, but add these cherries on the top. Talk about that.
Yeah. So the thing about Hometown Heroes is it does cover down payment, closing costs, and prepaids, right? But it's only up to 5% of the loan amount. So depending on what you're buying and what you're wanting to put down as a down payment, you may still have to have some out-of-pocket expenses for some of the closing costs or some of the prepaids, right? Those might be things that you have to pay out of pocket. What I've found, especially in this market right now today, is sellers are a lot more flexible on helping the buyers, right? So what we'll do is we'll come in and make an offer that not only has Hometown Heroes on it, where you're going to get the down payment assistance, but we also get you closing cost credits from the seller so that they're paying your closing costs and your prepaids, if not all of it, the majority. And then you can use 100% of the assistance for the actual down payment and maximize that side.
Which reduces your principal, which reduces your payment. So
absolutely.
So this is where it all comes together, and this is how it wins. And I'm going to tell you something. This is truly a program that is designed to help you. I'm going to tell you right now, when it comes to the mortgage companies don't make money on these programs. This is not a leader for me. We do this because it's for you. You want us to help you with affordability? We're helping you with affordability. This is it in your face. Now, you get with Tom, you get with me. I want to get you fully pre-approved first. So when Tom goes out and shows you property, he can negotiate like a crazy person. And what he's saying is we can come in strong on the price, get the closing costs paid, use the down payment assistance for down payment only, get the seller to pick up your closing costs. You win all the way around, folks. All the way around.
I know anecdotally, you and I got a couple people into homes using this program last year and the year before, where they were out of pocket like $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, right? And that's like last month's rent. That's not even like real money, right? It's a lot of money.
We've done even better than that. We had our last client got money back at the closing.
So that's an abnormal thing. But imagine being able to walk into a $500,000 house with $3,000 or $4,000 out of pocket and own it instead of rent it. That's, to me, that's the dream, right? That's why we do it.
Yep. Now here's a caveat, folks, when you're doing Hometown Heroes, and I want you to be aware of this, and we've seen this happen too. Don't put a substantial down payment down on your escrow deposit. If you do not get the money back. Now, if you don't close on the house, you get the money back. But Hometown Heroes says, if you got that much money to put down as an earnings money deposit, that's the skin you're putting in the game. So you don't want to do that. And we've had clients go, we were required to put a $5,000 deposit down, but we really wanted to come out of pocket with $2,000. Nope. You just came out of pocket with $5,000.
You just came out of pocket with $5,000.
You want to put a minimum down payment on your earnest money deposit. So how would you convince a seller of that, Tom?
it's really, obviously, if I'm assuming I'm on the buyer's side, I'm going to be talking to the seller's agent and just walking them through the process of Hometown Heroes, right? And how that works and how that would negatively affect the buyer. And then I'm going to do two things. One is, because my buyer is qualified through Cross Country Mortgage and they're on the fast track program, we're going to have them fully underwritten, mostly underwritten, because they don't have a property yet. And I'm going to be able to connect that agent with Bruce and have Bruce explain how that process works and how that buyer is very unlikely to fail. And so because of that, that's really the reason that people want the big earnest money.
The only way that's going to fail is if it didn't appraise or there was some
Correct.
major issue with inspections. Other than that.
Yep. And so that's what we do. And I'll tell you, I haven't had a lot of pushback on that at all. There are some agents that are very just old and crusty and just, that's the way it is. I need 2% as an earnest money deposit, but very few. We can usually get over it for them.
Yeah. They just don't understand, do they? They don't.
Sometimes they don't like down payment assistance programs, those kind of things.
So
we got to talk about something that I've seen. I have been all over YouTube about property taxes, the property tax reform that's happening here in Florida. I've got on my YouTube channel, the Florida Real Estate Insider, I've got tons and tons of videos and things about the property tax thing. And what's really interesting that I've seen now is I've seen municipalities, counties, cities, etc., coming out and proactively putting their budgets online and talking about them and defend their dollars. Hey, we really need this fire truck. Hey, which is cool, right? Maybe you do. Justify
they should be doing that anyway.
And so interestingly, I had a conversation with the mayor of Sanford over social media, right? I don't know the guy. But here we are talking about his budget, and I made that note, and hey, actually, you're actually talking about it. He goes, yeah, we usually do, but we don't go in depth, and I'm glad that people are more engaged, right? And so I think the side effect of this conversation is that people are more aware of their tax dollars and what they're being spent on, and maybe the municipalities can justify these dollars, but I'll bet a lot of them can't.
I bet they can't either. And I bet you they're going to be doing some fancy dancing over there just to figure out how they can backtrack their justifiable spending. But here's the thing, and here's the way I'm going to see this play out. My opinion, and you and I are on the same page on this, and we aren't always, but we are now. I'm going to vote yes for this when it comes on the board. It's not perfect. You and I know this is not at all what was proposed from the beginning. But even if it's a 5 out of 10, a 4 out of 10, I'm going to take a 4 out of 10, because if it eliminates or reduces my homestead tax consequences by 30 to 45%, why wouldn't I take that? The only reason I wouldn't take it is if I felt, oh my God, they're going to shut down the fire department and they're going to shut down the police department for me to save a little bit of money. I don't want that. But that's the fear mongers. They're going to put this in the heads of the people to say, oh, you're going to. So here's the deal. I think if they did the original plan and wiped out all the taxes, you might have an issue with that, but not with this plan. This plan is itty bitty. So here's the way I figure it. Vote yes for this, folks. You can't scream about affordability and not vote yes for this. This is your first chance to combat affordability. So don't listen to all these municipalities telling you they can't do it. They'll figure out how to do it. There's plenty of other places that they get taxes from. And here's the thing. These municipalities have been squandering money for a long time. They want to put sidewalks in my community and we don't even want them. The neighbors don't even want them. They're like, we got budget for it. We'll reallocate it to burying our power lines. We can't do that. It was only for this. So there's all kinds of red tape. There's all kinds of red tape for that. But here's the thing, folks. I'm voting for it because here's the way I look at this. It's only going to cut your taxes by 30 to 45%. Would you take that? Would you take that? I'll take that. But here's what it's going to do. The next session is what, 2 years from now then? After this one, it's not every year, right? It's every 2 years.
No, it's every year. We have a legislative session every year. Yeah.
Okay, so the legislative session will come back next.
Here's what we don't have every year, just so you know. The reason this has a shot at passing, because there's a lot of renters in Florida, and there's not enough homesteaders that are actually going to benefit to be only homesteaders that get it. The reason this is going to work, or could work, is because this is not a presidential election year and a lot less people vote. So we don't have to win as many people. We just have to win the right people and get them to vote. So this is going to be more about turnout than most. If they did it during a presidential election year, then there's a higher voter turnout, and it would probably fail.
Here's the way I think this will work. If you really think about this. So let's just say all the haters and naysayers could be right, that we would have to maybe lose some police and fire department. We would know that in the very first year with a partial reduction of tax dollars. If there's no cops or fire departments getting laid off and they're cleaning up their accounting, then we can go to the next step and maybe knock off another $50,000 in exemption or another 100,000. And we can work our way into it to where we go, you know what? We can't get any more than this. We wanted 100%, but we can only get to 80%. I'm okay with 80%. Are you okay with 80%?
Sure. Yeah.
So I say we can inch our way into it. So vote yes when this comes on. If you don't vote yes, then you can't bitch and moan about affordability.
Absolutely. And by the way, if for anybody that's renting that thinks they should vote no because they're renting and they're going to get hurt, this is your incentive to buy, because if this passes, those property taxes are going to go away. In the first years, you're going to see basically a lower payment, right? Because you're not going to have to escrow for taxes or as much taxes. However, that money will be capitalized into the price down the road. So it's going to create a buying opportunity for the next couple of years as it phases in. So if it happens, get ready, buy a house.
I have even more call to action than that, because if you don't own a home by the end of this year, December 31st, you could have, even if it passes, you could have to wait 5 years to get it.
No, that's actually wrong. Yep. No, as long as you're a resident, you don't have to own the home yet. As long as you have been a resident. As you could be renting for the last 20 years, as long as you're a Florida resident on December 31st.
All right, so what that refers to is people moving into the state.
After 2027, if they move into the state, they have to wait 5 years. That's right.
After 2026, not 2027.
January 1st, 2027. January 1st, 2027. If they move in after that date. Yep.
So you could be living, as long as you're a resident here, you don't have to wait the 5 years. If you are a non-resident moving here, considering Florida, you want to be here before the end of the year as a homeowner rather than after the end of the year.
I've had so many questions where people are asking, how do you establish Florida residency? And believe it or not, there's no official checkbox. Check these 2 boxes and you're good. It's all about intent. You have to have a permanent residence. You have to change your driver's license. You have to register to vote here. You don't have to, but you should, right? That's a great indication. You have to start receiving mail here. You have to have no other homestead anywhere else, right? People that are like half-times here in New York or here in New Jersey or whatever, they have to stop being homesteaded where they are and only be homesteaded here. So there's a couple of really critical steps that you can take, but there is no, I'm going to apply to be a Florida resident. So the burden's on you when you apply for it. You certify that you're a resident, and then they may or may not ask you to prove it.
More than likely, when it comes to eliminating a tax, they're going to want some evidence.
They are now. Yeah.
Well, I thought that was great. We talked about a lot of things here. Yes,
we did. We went a little overtime, but that's okay.
That's okay, but we got a lot covered, and I think we brought a lot of value to people out there. So go to our YouTube page, subscribe to it. Go to Tom. Tom's got a great YouTube page. You want to know everything about what is going on with property taxes? He is the insider that can help you with that. I thought I had your, there we are.
It's Florida Real Estate Insider.
That's Florida Real Estate.
We cover property taxes. We cover insurance. We cover HOAs. We cover all the different, I call it real estate adjacent. Well, I call it real estate adjacent, right? Yeah, there's a lot of condo stuff going on, right? So I'm not necessarily always looking at the price of a home or what value is this or what color to paint your house, but things that are adjacent to it that actually impact real estate a whole lot more, and tons of legislation. As a matter of fact, my next big push besides property taxes is this road to 21st century housing that's coming down from the federal government here any day now. So
yeah, and it's getting some bouncing around right now too. So we want to bring that back because there was a lot of things that were bipartisan that were voted right in, and now it's starting. I looked at it the other day and I'm like, they're kind of crushing this thing up a little bit.
and sausage making is always ugly.
It is making sausage. And therefore, I've got to run. Happy 13th to you. Happy Monday. And thanks for listening to this. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube page. Have a great day, Tom.
Yes. Have a great week.